there are certain things that we can do to make sure that it's not easy for someone else to hack into our private information. And when I saw this story, I said, you know, everybody is exposed to this, not just celebrities. Shawn Tuma is a cybersecurity expert and joins us now to talk about this, not just the incident that happened this week to Leslie Jones, but what could happen to all of us. Shawn, welcome to 700 WLW. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
All right, so I change passwords constantly. My accounts at work demand it. I have private email accounts. I try to keep those over and above the average things like the name of my dog, how many cats I have, what their names are, and all that. What should I be doing right now to make sure that my private accounts, whether it be a Twitter account or an email account, what should I be doing right now that I'm probably not thinking of?
You know, Ken, look, the first step is you have to understand how this stuff works, and that most hacking, as we hear it described, is not truly hacking in like a code-based attack. It's educated guessing and trickery. And in the case of Leslie Jones, we don't know yet exactly what happened to her, but the most likely scenario is that someone was able to guess her passwords and login credentials based upon information they found over the internet. You know, if you think about how we've done security questions in the past for, you know, what's your mother's maiden name? Mm-hmm. Where did you go to high school? 20 years ago, only you knew that, or your family. Now, Google knows all of it. And so you have to understand that most of this stuff is either educated guessing or tricking people into giving up information, and that's what we call social engineering. So the first question, you know, you said use passwords. Use good, strong passwords with a combination of characters and numbers that can't be easily guessed. And for your security questions, do not use things that can be looked up on Google. If you're a celebrity that will likely come in the crosshairs of something like this, maybe use false information if you don't have another choice. And use what you know to be false, but no one else could guess. And that's really a great starting point for anybody.
You know, Shawn, we hear a lot about identity theft, and it happened to me. I'll just tell you the story. It happened to me about 6-7 months ago that there was a large purchase done on my American Express card that was not my purchase. It was purchased by someone that did exactly what you say. They went online and they found out enough personal information about me that was readily available through an internet search, and my card was charged for about $1,600 worth of medical equipment that was not only bought by someone else with my credit card. They even had it down to a science where it was delivered to my house through one of the, it was either UPS or Federal Express, and they were sitting there waiting for it because they also signed me up for some sort of specialized delivery. And, you know, obviously when that happens, you go through the credit card company, you challenge the purchase, and then you wind up changing everything. And it's a hassle. You know, thank God the credit card company said, okay, we're not going to charge you for this, but they were duped along with me in this process. So what you're saying is true. I think the one thing you just said was you may want to just put false information in there that has absolutely nothing to do with you so that you can't be a victim of this. I think that's probably the safest road to go at this point, is it not?
I think it's a great way to do it because, you know, like you said, these people have time on their hands and they have a financial incentive to dupe and defraud people. And so they're going to take their time and keep trying. And we have to use whatever means we have available to throw them off. And if you put information that's not readily available on there or that's directly false, you know it, they don't know it, you're way ahead of them.
Well, you're a cybersecurity expert. We all know what the story that broke here in the last month or so about Hillary Clinton and her emails being hacked. We can debate the wisdom and the merit of what she was doing from now until whenever, and I don't think we'll come to a conclusion. But I do think it does beg the question: can this be the work too of foreign governments or people that are maybe not even affiliated with governments but are in insurgent groups in other countries? Is that a real threat to the average guy walking around the street like me, like you?
You know, an interesting tidbit. The only reason we know about the email server was because Sidney Blumenthal got hacked, or what they call hacked, by the methods we just described, by the guessing from Google. But no, you know, the reality is we could be a victim of that kind of attack by foreign governments. It's not likely that a government is going to care that much about what you or I do. Probably not even that much about what Ms. Jones does. But people sitting in Romania, you know, in a little shack with nothing but time on their hands and a computer, they can pull off a lot of these crimes, and they often are behind it. I doubt they would have been behind the one at your house because it took someone to be there personally. But they certainly are behind a lot of the cybercrime that we see.
So other than being vigilant about our passwords for email, for Twitter, for wherever, Instagram, whatever, other than being vigilant about that, would it be prudent to curtail what we do on the internet in terms of business transactions and in terms of communicating? I mean, do we have to get to that point where, you know, we're actually, you know, the way we're operating with just terrorism in this day, you know, don't put yourself in a bad position. If you see something, say something. Are we approaching that now in the internet, or is that too much of a draconian kind of opinion?
It's too draconian, because the reality is these people, you know, all cybercrime is it's old-fashioned fraud and theft using a new tool. These criminals are still using the old-fashioned way. They still walk up to people, you know, go into offices they're not supposed to be in by following someone with a key card. They make telephone calls and get people to donate to charities, you know, that don't exist. It's their bank account. And so taking those steps isn't going to make you totally secure. And the tools that we are using are pretty sophisticated. What we really need is education and more understanding on the part of the people so that they can be vigilant and aware of when they're being duped. You know, email's great, but don't click on the email from the guy saying your great uncle is leaving you $25 million. Or, you know, remember, if it's too good to be true, if it sounds it, it is. And don't forget that.
Yeah, particularly in my family. Shawn Tuma is our guest here. He's a cybersecurity expert. Do these companies that sell password protection, and we all know what their names are, these companies that you know, allegedly keep a vigilant outlook at your transactions and the security of your credit cards and all that, are they worthwhile investments? Are they something that we as average people should be looking at? Or is that just kind of like a layer of something to make us more comfortable, perhaps mentally, as opposed to in actuality?
No, they are effective. They do provide an additional level of security. Oftentimes they monitor transactions and hits on your credit reports and things of that nature, such as when someone's trying to open an account or use a card from a place that you wouldn't ordinarily be, or things like that. They're very helpful, and they're a nice addition to have in protecting you against this kind of crime.
Well, you sound like somebody that people ought to get to know. How do we find you? Where do we find you, Shawn?
The easiest way is my blog. It's ShawnETuma.com, ShawnETuma.com.
Okay.
Twitter, anywhere, LinkedIn, I'm all over the place.
Okay. Well, interesting stuff and good thoughts. I'm changing passwords as we speak. Thank you, Shawn.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Ken.
Shawn Tuma, Tuma.